Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Brady Knapp, the Chair of Music at the University of St. Thomas and Associate Professor of Voice. Thank you for joining tonight's broadcast. The students and I are so grateful to have you and hope that you will consider giving to the Performing and Fine Arts Society. You can learn more information on the website or write to music@sttom.edu to make a contribution. I would like to thank stage director Deborah Dickinson, who is a seasoned and generous educator, a Broadway veteran, and who has worked beside me for 16 years, our 31st semester together in this opera workshop endeavor. She has buoyed now generations of students, and Debbie, we are all better for your work, and we appreciate your being a can-do educator through plexiglass shields and through Zoom, and through all the various means of online platforms. You have done it despite this pandemic, and we love you and appreciate you for that work. I'd like to thank Jasmine Hatem, professor of piano and our accompanist tonight, for her heroic efforts, her nonstop efforts, making digital tracks, online accompaniments to make tonight's program happen. Thank you, Jasmine, for your countless hours and for always being gracious and loving and affable and available to the students when they needed you most. I don't know how many times you've recorded the final scene, but you have, and now it is perfect. Thank you. I would also like to thank our editors, who you will see in the credits, Dustin and Adam and Ryan, thank you. Joshua Graham, our student assistant, thank you. Without your help tonight, the program would not be as seamless and centered, and we are most grateful as a cast and as a faculty for your work. Finally, I hope that you and your families will have a very happy holiday season, despite the very complicated days that we all face. Go with the peace and hope and love of Christmastide. I hope that your Advent will continue to be a wonderful, blessed journey, and that when we do get to Christmas and the new year, that the new beginning will nourish and inspire all of us. With God's help and with prayers, I hope that you will remain safe and will continue to enjoy artistic endeavors at the University of St. Thomas. It is with your support and your love and your buoying of our students that we are here. And we thank you for that support. Please take care. Please enjoy the show, and happy holidays.
From Lucy Simon's musical, The Secret Garden, Archibald Craven lives a sad and isolated life after the death of his wife, Lily. His brother, Dr. Craven, has stayed on with him in his mansion, taking care of Archibald's sickly son. But into their midst comes a young girl, Lily's niece. Now Archibald's ward and both men can't help but notice the child's resemblance to the woman they both loved.
Strangely quiet, but now the storm simply rests to strike again. Standing, waiting, I think of her. I think of
Strangeness very, she leaves the room, yet remains. She lingers on. Something stirs me to think of her. I think of her.
From death she cast her spell. All night we hear her sighs, and now a girl has come who has her eyes. She has her eyes. She has Lily's hazel eyes, those eyes that saw him happy long ago. Those eyes that gave him life and hope he'd never known. How can he see the girl and miss those hazel?
She has her eyes, the girl has Lily's hazel eyes, those eyes that closed and left me all alone. eyes I feel will never ever let me go. How can I see this girl who has her hazel eyes? In Lily's eyes a castle this house seemed to me, and I her bravest knight became. My lady fair was she.
She has her eyes, she has Lily's hazel eyes, those eyes that loved my brother, never me. Those eyes that never saw me, never knew I longed to hold her close, to live at last in Lily's eyes. I longed for the day she'd turn and see me standing there, would God had let her stay. She has her eyes, she has Lily's hazel eyes, those eyes that closed and left me. How can I now forget that I get to be in love, alive and whole, in Lily's eyes, in Lily's eyes.
Our next scene is from Rodgers and Hammerstein's The Sound of Music. At Nonnberg Abbey in Austria, free-spirited Maria is a real worry for the mother abbess. She and the other nuns wonder, how do you solve a problem like Maria?
I think we should be pleased with our efforts. Out of 28 postulants, 16 or 17 are ready to enter the novitiate. Let's consider the doubtful ones again. There's Ermengarde.
Reverend Mother, there's no doubt about Ermengarde. The religious life is no place for the pious.
You mean the pretentiously pious, Sister Berta. There's Christina, and there's Maria.
Well, after last night, I don't think there could be any doubt in the Reverend Mother's mind about Maria.
I gave her permission to leave the Abbey for the day.
I told you so, Sister Berta. Excuse me.
Ave.
Reverend Mother, I've brought Maria. She's waiting.
Sister Sophia, the mistress of the postulants and the mistress of the novices do not see eye to eye about Maria. How do you feel about her?
Well, I love her dearly, but it seems that she's always in trouble, isn't she?
Exactly what I say.
She climbs a tree that scrapes her knee, her dress is got a tear.
She waltzes on her way to mass and whistles on the stair.
And underneath the wimple she has curlers in her hair.
I've even heard her singing in the abbey.
She's always late for chapel,
but her penitence is real.
She's always late for everything except for every meal. I hate to have to say it, but I very firmly feel
Maria's not enough to
me.
I'd like to say a word on her behalf.
Say it, Sister Margaretta.
Maria makes me laugh. How do you solve a problem like Maria?
How do you catch a cloud and pin it down?
How do you find a word that means Maria?
A flippity gibbet,
another one's like cloud.
Many a thing you know you'd like to tell her. Many a thing she ought to understand.
But how do you make her stay and listen to all you say?
How do you keep a wave upon the sand?
Oh, how do you solve a problem like Maria? confused. All your focus send me news, and I never know exactly where I am.
Unpredictable as weather, she's as flighty as a feather.
She's a darling,
she's a demon.
she's a lamb. She'll pester any pest, drive a hornet from its nest.
She could throw a whirling dervish out of the world.
She is gentle, she is wise. She's a riddle, she's a charm.
She's a headache.
She's an angel.
She's a girl.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
How do you catch a cloud and wind it down? How do you find a word that means Maria?
Or somebody to make a will of the wisp.
A clown. Many a thing you know you like to tell her. Many a thing she ought to understand. But how do you make her stay?
Listen to all you say. How do you catch a wave upon the sand?
Or how do you solve a problem like Maria?
How do you lift up weeping
And She Loves Me, with music by Jerry Bach and lyrics by Sheldon Harnick. Amalia and Ilona work as clerks at a perfume shop in 1930s Budapest. As they wrap packages for Christmas, they discuss their love lives.
This is fun. I love Christmas wrapping. It certainly is a pleasant change. You know, for the last month, I've done practically nothing but fill those darn tubes of Mona Lisa. Oh, what do you care? You're in love with some nice, eligible young man. Well, pretty soon you'll be able to kiss all this goodbye. Tell me, what's he like? Tell me all about him. I love to suffer. Well, is he tall? So-so. So 6 feet, so 5 feet? I never measured. What color of hair, color of eyes? Sandy hair. Not really light, not really dark. And color of eyes? Bluish, greenish, brownish, a little. Well, is he handsome? It's difficult to say. I mean, at times he is, and then again, at times he's not. Well built, average. Would you like a piece of good advice? Just this. Don't ever lose him in a crowd. Why, oh, why am I such a terrible liar? The fact is, I never met him. Ever, really. Never. That's why I don't know if he's tall, wide, short, narrow, pink, or green, or even what his name is. All this for a blind date? Oh my God, you're more desperate than I am. It's not a blind date. I know him. How? Letters. Many, many letters. You belong to the Lonely Hearts Club? I've never done that kind of thing. Oh, I used to see the advertisements in the papers. Well, who hasn't? Young man wants young lady. Young lady wants young man. But I never took them seriously until one day I saw his advertisement. Even then, I tried not to answer it, really. It just kept calling out to me. Well, he could be 75. The advertisement said young man. You mean you haven't even asked for a photograph? I don't know his name or what he looks like, but I have a much more certain guide. I can tell exactly what he looks like inside. When I undertook this correspondence, little did I know I'd grow so fond. Little did I know our views would aunt. I don't need to see his handsome profile. I don't need to see his manly frame. All I need to know is in each letter, each long revealing letter, I couldn't know him better. If I knew his name, oh, I know him so well, Alona. I know that he's a very successful person and very well educated. And he's gentle and kind and soft-spoken. I know all this about him and so much more. It's just that I've never met him, that's all. He rises too handsome, true, he doesn't much matter. But his personal habits are more important than his looks. Supposing he soars like a mockingbird, supposing he grinds his teeth, supposing he's a noble cracker, a million. Good luck with your book. He thinks the teacher, he feels his affection, he shares the sin with the T.R.L.A.Z.A.R. All that it maybe all right with me, doesn't matter, I'm sorry, I do much better myself to my and a gramophone. I need to see his handsome profile. I was taking the advice. I want to see his manly frame. I was taking the advice. All I need to know is in each letter. I'm gonna use each long revealing letter. I couldn't you do much better. If I knew his name, I knew his name was in my name.
Continuing on with another song from She Loves Me, Amalia sets up a meeting with her pen pal, but he doesn't show up. Disappointed, she calls in sick the next morning. Her manager, George, comes to her house bringing a get-well gift of some ice cream, which is very unusual since they can't stand each other. George informs her that her pen pal had to stand her up because of a sudden business trip, so she sits down to write him a letter.
Dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way, but together you and I will laugh at last night someday. Ice cream, he brought me ice cream, vanilla ice cream, imagine that. Ice cream, and for the first time we were together without a spot. Friendly, he was so friendly, that isn't like him, I'm simply stunned. Will wonders never cease, will wonders never cease, it's been the most peculiar day. Will wonders never cease, will wonders never cease. Where was I? I am so sorry about last night, it was a nightmare in every way, but together you and I will laugh at last night someday. I sat there waiting in that cafe, and never knowing that you were fat, that you were near. You were outside looking bold. Oh, no, no. No. Okay. A dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. Last night I was so nasty when he deserved it, but even so, this George is not like that George. This isn't
And in this scene from She Loves Me, we continue with George's reaction to the meeting at Amalia's house. He has realized that he, George, is the pen pal with whom Amalia has been writing. He decides to let her take her time to figure it out for herself.
Will wonders never cease? I didn't like her, I couldn't stand her, I wouldn't have her, I never knew her, but now I do, and I could, and I would, and I know. She loves me, and to my amazement, I love it, knowing that she loves me. She loves me, true she doesn't show it. How could she, when she doesn't know it? Yesterday she loved me, bah! Now today she likes me, bah! And tomorrow, my teeth ache from the urge to touch her. I'm speechless, for I mustn't tell her. It's wrong now, but it won't be long now before my love discovers that she and I are lovers. Imagine how so bright she's bound to be. She loves me. She loves me. I love her. Isn't that a wonder? I wonder why I wouldn't want her. I want her, that's the thing that matters. And matters are improving daily. Yesterday I loved her, bah! Now today I love her, bah! And tomorrow, I'm tingling, such delicious tingles. I'm trembling, what the heck does that mean? I'm freezing, that's because it's cold out. But still I'm incandescent, and like some adolescent, I'd like to scroll on every wall I see. She loves me. She loves me.
We switch now to Mozart's The Marriage of Figaro. It's Figaro's wedding day, but he has just learned that his employer, the Count, plans to seduce his fiancée Susanna. He puts his clever wits to the test and tries to derail the Count's plans. He says, "If you want to dance, Count, I will play the guitar."
Bravo, signor padrone, ora incomincio a capire il mistero e vedere schieto tutto il vostro progetto. A Londra è vero, voi ministro, io corriero, e la Susanna secreta ambasciatrice, non sarà, Figaro il dice. Se vuol ballare, signor Contino, se vuol ballare, signor Contino, il chitarrino le suonerò. Il chitarrino
le suonerò sì, le suonerò sì, le suonerò. Se vuol venire nella mia scuola la capriola le insegnerò. Se vuol venire nella mia scuola la capriola le insegnerò sì, le insegnerò sì, le insegnerò. Saprò, 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 ma piano, 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 piano. Meglioni arcano dissimulando scorpir potrò. L'arte schermendo, l'arte adoprando, dico pugnendo, di let scherzando, tutte le macchine rovescerò, rovescerò. L'arte schermendo, l'arte adoprando, dico pugnendo, di let scherzando, tutte le macchine rovescerò, tutte le macchine rovescerò, tutte le macchine rovescerò, rovescerò, rovescerò. Se vuol ballare, signor Contino, se vuol ballare, signor Contino, il chitarrino le suonerò. Il chitarrino le suonerò sì, le suonerò sì, le suonerò.
We now have another scene from The Marriage of Figaro. The young page boy Carabino is just experiencing the wonders of love. He's not quite sure what he's feeling, but he knows he likes it.
Carmine
Next, from the last act of The Marriage of Figaro, Figaro is hiding, thinking that he will catch his fiancée, Susanna, at a rendezvous with the Count. Susanna, however, knows that he's there and teases him with this seductive aria, pretending to be eagerly awaiting the Count, while she's really only thinking of Figaro on their wedding night.
Giunse infine il momento che godrò senza affanno il braccio l'idol mio. Chi me ne corre, uscite dal mio petto, a turbar non venite il mio diletto. Oh, come par che all'amoroso fuoco la verità del loco, la terra e il ciel risponda. Come la notte i furti miei seconda. Vieni, non tardar, oh gioia bella. Vieni d'amore per governo pela, finché non splende in ciel notturna face, finché l'aria ancor bruna il mondo tace. Qui mormora il ruscello, qui scherza l'ara, che col dolce sussurro il cor ristara. Qui ridono i fiorette, l'erba è fresca, ai piacere d'amor qui tutto adesca. Vieni, bene mio, tra queste piante ascoste. Vieni, vieni, una fronte incoronar di rose. Ti una fronte incoronar di rose.
From the Maury Yeston musical, Titanic, stoker Frederick Barrett comes up from the boiler room to try to send a telegraph message to his sweetheart. In the wireless room, he meets Harold Bride, a wireless operator working for the Marconi Company.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Who's there?
Barrett. Barrett.
Ah, the stoker. I remember. Welcome to the most important place on the whole ship. What can I do for you, Barrett?
I heard you could actually send a message back to England.
You heard right, all right. Sitting right here, I can communicate with important people all over the world.
Yeah?
Yeah. That explains how it works, but I'm afraid... Oh, hold on. Message coming in. Iceberg warning from the Baltic. That's your old ship.
Yeah.
You can say I'm awful busy, Barrett. So what is it you want?
Shouldn't the captain know about that iceberg then?
Not to worry. Already sent half dozen just like it. If you ask me, they don't know what the hell they're doing. Pardon my French. It's like we say in the telegraphy business. You can't be a radio operator and remain a Christian.
So how much would it cost to send a message to my girl in England? Sort of a romantic message.
Ah, very pretty. But romantic or not, minimum rate's £2, 4 pence.
What? That's twice what they pay me to America and back.
Hold on. Maybe I'd give you a professional discount.
Yeah? What'd that cost?
Nothing. They'll never know the difference.
Thank you very much. You must be a sort of romantic person yourself.
Not me. Romance and telegraphy don't mix, see? How can you communicate with only one person when you've got the entire world talking to you? I'll need her name and address.
Darlene Watkins Billsthorpe, Nottinghamshire. What's that you're doing?
Darlene Watkins, Billsthorpe, Nottinghamshire. What's the rest of it?
I don't know. It's got to be just the right thing. Darlene's sort of funny, you see. She said if I wouldn't take her serious, she knew someone who would. And I'm not due back to America for almost 2 weeks yet. So I might as well come straight out with it. I'll be coming back to you, darling. Back to your dark eyes and hair. Marry me when I return, darling. And until that day, my love, take care. Breathe you well. May the Lord who watches all watch over thee. May God's heaven be your blanket as you softly sleep. Marry me when you're finally in my arms, you'll plainly see this devoted sailor's heart and soul are yours to keep.
Yours to keep. Every perfect G-M-O-M. Good morning, old man. To G-N-O-M. Good night to old man. My telegraph sends its messages to ships at sea. Sending out its dit-dit-a-dit-da-dit. 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 I was young and shy, detached and sad. Spent my days indoors, a home unhad. Hardly spoke few friends, I kept myself to myself. Quite alone. Then I found Marconi's telegraph. They could span the planet's width by half. With the earth 2,000 miles, the same touched the spark. Sounded the tone. And the night was alive with 1,000 voices fighting to be heard.
Fred.
Message received.
Our next scene is from Giancarlo Menotti's Amal and the Night Visitors. One evening, long ago, on a hillside in Judea, a little shepherd boy sees a strange and wondrous star in the night sky.
In John Kander and Fred Epps, The Woman of the Year, a housewife meets up with a celebrity TV news journalist and they compare lives.
I'll bet your friends are all celebrities. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? You can make a pot roast. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? First you brown an onion. Is your picture up its Sardi's? That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? You can clean an oven. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? First you grab the easy up.
The grass is always greener on somebody else's estate. The meat is always leaner on somebody else's dinner plate. But you can sew a button on. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? Bet you go to discos. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? First you take a Valium. I can see you planning picnics. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? Eating at the White House. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? Make America great again. The grass is always greener on somebody else's front lawn. Somebody else's wiener always has a lot more relish on.
You saved the whales in Newfoundland. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? You can hold a household. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? First you have a breakdown. You're always in the magazines. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? You can hold a husband. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful? There's more to life than husbands.
I could use a husband.
You can have my husband.
I already had your husband. It makes you kind of teary. So think about it, dearie. The grass is always greener in someone else's yard.
It's hard.
In Rodgers and Hammerstein's South Pacific, Emile Debec is a French planter living on a Pacific island during World War II. Nellie Forbush is an American nurse stationed on the island. They go out to his patio after having dinner together.
What's this one?
That is frangipani.
But what a color!
You will find many more flowers out here.
Well, I'm just speechless. And that lunch. Wild chicken. I didn't know it was ever wild. Gosh, I had no idea that people lived like this, right out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Sugar?
Thanks.
1.
3. I know it's a big load for a demi-tasse to carry. All right, I'm a hick. You know so many American words. Do you know what a hick is?
A hick is one who lives in a stick.
Sticks. Plural. The sticks.
The sticks. I remember now.
How long did it take you to build up a plantation like this?
I came to the Pacific when I was a young man.
Emile, is it true that all the planters on these islands, are they all running away from something?
Who is not running away from something? There are fugitives everywhere. Paris, New York, even Small Rock.
Oh, Little Rock.
Little Rock. Do you know any fugitives there?
I'll show you a picture of a Little Rock fugitive. I got this clipping from my mother today.
Inside nearly Forbush, Little Rock son Florence Nightingale.
That was written by Mrs. Leeming, the social editor. She went to school with my mother. To read her, you would think that I'm practically the most important nurse in the entire Navy, and that I run the fleet hospital all by myself, and that it's only a matter of time before I'll be a lady admiral.
In this picture, you don't look much like an admiral.
Oh, that was taken before I knew what rain and heat and mud could do to your disposition. But it isn't rainy today. Gosh, it's beautiful here. Just look at that yellow sun.
You say you are a fugitive. When you joined the Navy, what were you running away from?
Gosh, I don't know. It was more like running to something. I wanted to see what the world was like, outside Little Rock, I mean, and I wanted to meet different kinds of people and find out if I liked them better. And I'm finding out.
Would you like some cognac?
I'd love some. Wonder how I'd feel living on a hillside, looking on an ocean, beautiful and still.
This is what I need, this is what I've longed for, someone young and smiling, climbing up my hill.
We are not alike, probably I'd bore him, he's a cultured Frenchman, I'm a little hick.
Younger men than I, officers and doctors, probably pursue her, she could have her pick.
Wonder why I feel jittery and jumpy, I am like a schoolgirl waiting for a doll.
Can I ask her now? I am like a schoolboy, what will be her answer? Do I have a chance?
From Handel's opera Julius Caesar,
Cleopatra has disguised herself as an Egyptian noble maiden named Lydia in order to seduce Caesar, wanting his help to overthrow her brother Ptolemy. She sings, "Sweet eyes, lightning bolts of love, I adore you. Your sparks are welcome in my breast. My dearly beloved, my sad heart begs for your compassion."
From Kurt Weill's street scene, Sam, a college student, listens to the sounds of his neighbors in front of the old New York tenement house in which he lives.
At night, when everything is quiet, this old house seems to breathe a sigh. Sometimes I hear a neighbor snoring. Sometimes I hear a baby cry. Sometimes I hear a staircase creaking. Sometimes a distant telephone. Then the quiet settles down again. The house and I are all alone. Lonely house, lonely me. Funny, with so many neighbors, how lonely it can be. Oh, lonely street, lonely town. Funny, you can be so lonely with all these folks around. I guess there must be something I don't comprehend. Sparrows have companions, even stray dogs find a friend. The night for me is not romantic. Unhook the stars and take them down. I'm lonely in this lonely house. In this lonely
Mozart's The Magic Flute takes place in a mythical land. Prince Tamino awakens to find himself threatened by a giant serpent, and he faints, but is saved by 3 ladies in the service of the Queen of the Night, who kill the dragon. As our scene begins, the bird catcher, Papageno, introduces himself and explains how wonderful life could be if he could catch girls instead of birds. He then sees Tamino and takes credit for killing the serpent. The 3 ladies appear and admonish Papageno for telling lies. They give Prince Tamino a picture of a beautiful girl, the daughter of the Queen of the Night, and he instantly falls in love.
Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets lustig, heißer Habsasa. Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, bei Ort und Jung im ganzen Land. Weiß mit dem Locken umzugehen und mich auf Pfeifen zu verstehen. Drum kann ich froh und lustig sein, denn alle Vögel sind ja mein. Der Vogelfänger
Fänger bin ich ja, stets lustig, heißer Hopsasa. Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, bei Ort und Jung im ganzen Land. Ein Netz für Mädchen möchte ich fing sie durch den Weiß für mich. Dann sperrte ich sie bei mir ein und alle Mädchen wären mein. Wenn alle Mädchen wären mein, so tauschte ich brav Zucker rein, die welche mir am liebsten wär, der gäb ich gleich den Zucker her. Und küsste sie mich zärtlich, dann wär sie mein Weib und ich ihr Mann. Sie schlief an meiner Seite ein, ich wiegte wie ein Kind sie ein.
Hello there.
Who's there?
Tell me who you are, my jolly friend.
Who am I? Silly question. A man like you. Suppose I were to ask who you were.
Well, then I should tell you, I am of noble blood.
That's above me. You must explain yourself more clearly if you want me to understand you.
My father is a king who rules over many lands and people. That is why they call me Prince.
Lands? Peoples? Prince? Tell me, are there any lands and peoples beyond these mountains?
Thousands and thousands.
Perhaps I could do some speculating there with my birds.
Tell me, what is this land called? And who rules it?
I cannot answer you that any more than I can tell you how I happened to come into this world.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you do not know where you were born? Or who your parents were?
Not a word. I only know that not far from here is my straw hut, which protects me from the cold and rain.
But by what do you get by?
By eating and drinking, just as anyone else does.
But how do you get it?
By exchange. I catch all kinds of birds for the Star Flaming Queen and her lady, and I receive food and drink every day from them.
The Star Flaming Queen? Tell me, my good friend, have you ever been fortunate enough to see this goddess of the night?
See her? See the Star Flaming Queen? What mortal can ever boast of having seen her? The way he stares at me, pretty soon I shall begin to be afraid of him. Why do you stare at me so suspiciously?
Well, I was wondering whether you're a human being or not. Well,
what was that?
Considering those feathers you're covered in, you look rather...
Not like a bird by any means. Stay away from me, I tell you, and don't trust me, for I have the strength of a giant. If he doesn't begin to be afraid of me soon, I shall have to make a run for it.
Strength of a giant? Then perhaps it was you who saved me and defeated this poisonous snake.
Snake? Is it dead or alive?
But tell me, my friend, how did you ever defeat this monster? You have no weapons.
I don't need weapons. A good squeeze of my hand is more than weapons.
So then you choked it?
Uh-huh, choked it. Never in my life have I been as strong as I am today.
Papageno.
Papageno. Papageno.
Ah, that's for me. Turn around, friend.
Who are these ladies?
Who they actually are, I do not know myself. I only know this much. Each day they take my birds and they give me wine, sugar bread, and sweet figs in return.
Well, I suppose they are beautiful.
I do not think so, for if they were, they would not have to cover up their faces.
Papageno. Papageno. Papageno.
Now they're after me. You asked me whether these ladies are beautiful, and I can only say that never in my life have I ever seen anyone more charming. I guess that should put them in a good humor again.
Papageno. Papageno. Papageno.
Ah, heavens! What could I have done to make them so angry today? Here, lovely ladies, I have brought you my birds.
Tell us, did you kill the serpent?
No.
Who did then?
Prince, it was we who saved you. The great queen sends you this portrait of her daughter. If you find that these features are not indifferent to you, then she says happiness, honor, and glory will be your destiny. Farewell.
Adieu, Monsieur Papageno.
Dies bin ich bezaubernd schön, wie noch kein Auge je gesehen. Ich will es, wie dies Götterbild mein Herz mit neuer Drängung fühlt. Mein Herz mit neuer Drängung fühlt. Dies etwas kann ich zwar nicht nennen, doch fühl ich's hier wie Feuer brennen. So die Empfindung Liebe sein, so die Empfindung Liebe sein. Ja, ja, die Liebe ist allein. Die Liebe, die Liebe, die Liebe ist allein. Oh, wenn ich wie nur finden könnte, oh, wenn sie doch schon vor mir stünde, ich würde warm und rein, was würde ich? Ich werde sie vollend siegen an diesen heißen Bussen liegen. Und ewig werde sie dann mein. Und ewig werde sie dann mein. Und ewig werde sie dann mein. Ewig werde sie dann mein. Ewig werde sie dann mein.
next scene is from Minotti's radio opera, The Old Maid and the Thief. Bob is a drifter who has come to stay with old Miss Todd and her maid, but he is starting to feel the walls closing in on him.
When the air sings of summer, I must wander again. Sweet land, Lord, is the sky, rich house is the plain, and to live is to wander through the sun and the rain. When the air sings of summer, I must wander again. First you wander in youth and joy, then you wander to still the fears of an old heart. First you wander to find your love, then you wander to still the tears, for a wanderer must depart. When a man owns a house, he is a bird in a cage, whose captivity pain is ripened with age. The sharp joy of freedom is my loss and my gain. When the air sings of summer, I must wander again.
From Aaron Copeland's The Tenderland, Lori is a senior who has just graduated from high school. She faces the future with both excitement and trepidation.
Once I thought I'd never grow tall as this fence. Time dragged heavy and slow, but April came and August went before I knew just what they meant. And little by little as I grew, I came to know how fast the time could go. Once I thought I'd never go outside this fence. This space was plenty for me. But I walked down one day, and just what happened I can't say. But little by little it came to me. That line between the earth and sky came beckoning to me. Now the shake and reach out to take that paper with the ribbon band. Now that all the learning's done, oh, who knows what will now begin? Oh, it's so strange. I'm strange inside. The time has grown so short. The world so
From Bye Bye Birdie, with music by Charles Strauss and lyrics by Lee Adams, teenagers Hugo and Kim have decided to go steady, which mobilizes the entire student body.
Hi, Nancy. Hi, Helen. What's the story? Morning Glory. What's the tale? Nightingale. Tell me quick about Hugo and Kim. Hi, Margie. Hi, Alice. What's the story? Morning Glory. What's a word? Hummingbird. Have you heard about Hugo and Kim?
Did they really get pinned?
Did she kiss and they cry? Did he pin the pin on? Or was he too shy? While I heard they got pinned, I was hoping they would. Now they're living at last, going steady for good.
Well, Mr. Hanko, this is Harvey Johnson. Can I speak to Penelope?
Is it true about Kim?
Penelope?
I just knew it somehow.
About the prom?
Let's call her right up.
Saturday?
I can't talk to you now.
Going steady, going steady, going steady. It won't last, not at all. He's too thin, she's too tall.
Hello, Mrs. Miller. This is Harvey Johnson. Can I speak to Deborah Sue?
Higher you go, highest to bed. What you wanna go get paid?
Well, I heard they got pinned. I was hoping they would. Now they're living at last. Going steady for.
Hello, Mrs. Garfine's charity home from school yet?
Did they really get pinned?